Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week Wisdom and Legacy Building podcast. Today is day 761 of our trek, and it is Wisdom Wednesday. As we continue this Wednesday to explore our trek interpreting life through a biblical worldview, as a Christ follower, it is important to view all situations and events in life through the lens of the Bible. That is a view of the world that is aligned with what the Bible teaches. We are exploring current issues that impact our world and society, and then comparing them through the lenses of the Bible instead of the lens of our society, culture, modern media, or even social media. I do not desire to tell you what to think, but to teach you how to think so that you'll be able to filter current issues and events through a biblical worldview. I may explore opposing views and challenge you to think. You may not always agree with my view, and that is okay. I am open to any comments that you might have on the subjects that we explore. We are broadcasting from our studios of the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. A biblical worldview at its core is grounded in the fact that the Bible is God's Word and contains all the truth that God chose to reveal to us. Even with that understanding, there are many interpretations of parts of the Bible that even the most learned of Bible scholars will disagree on. As finite humans living within the constraints of time and space, it is difficult for us to comprehend the mind of God. This gap was partially bridged when God came to earth as Jesus Christ, but not completely. As the prophet Isaiah wrote in Isaiah chapter 55, verse 9, "Just as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts." So today we will start with the creation of humans in Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 and 27. Then God said, "Let us make human beings in our image to be like us. They will reign over the fish of the sea and the birds of the sky, the livestock, all the wild animals of the earth, and all the small animals that scurry along the ground." So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. Even though we cannot fully understand all that God has done or is doing, there are 3 points that we want to consider today about creation versus evolution. The first one is a question of origins. The creation versus evolution debate boils down to a question of origins. How did we get here? Were we created or did we evolve randomly? Are we the product of purposeful intelligence or are we merely the end result of countless cosmic accidents? And does it even matter? Well, the second point is we want to look at reason versus religion. The popular media often portrays the creation versus evolution debate as science versus religion, with creation being religious and evolution being scientific. Unfortunately, if you don't agree with this label, you too are labeled. Regardless of whether you are a creationist or an evolutionist, if you disagree with this stereotype, you are condemned and exposed as a religious fanatic who is secretly trying to pass religion off as science, or, even worse, trying to disprove science in order to redeem a ridiculous, unscientific religious worldview. The fact really is that neither model of origins has been established beyond a reasonable doubt. Otherwise, the theory of evolution wouldn't be called the theory of evolution. Whether we like to admit it or not, for those who subscribe to the theory of evolution, they do so by faith. It is also by faith that we interpret creation through a biblical worldview. While the recognition of intelligent design in biology may have theological implications, it really is not based on a religious premise. It is actually based upon empirical observation and logic. And the third point we want to look at today is creation versus evolution. Does it really matter? Why do we squabble over creation versus evolution? Does it really matter what we believe about where we came from? And my answer is absolutely. Our views on morality, justice, purpose, self-worth, humanity, obligation, and destinations are closely tied to our biblical worldview of human origins. For example, without affirming or denying the veracity of the evolution theory, let's take a moment to consider what the theory of evolution teaches us about the human origins and what impact this teaching has had upon human behavioral patterns. Evolution teaches that species evolved and eventually reached ideal population levels. As species advanced, superior species eliminated inferior species, which has been referred to as survival of the fittest. Weak and inferior members of the species should be eliminated for the preservation of superior bloodlines and for the conservation of essential resources. When you look through the worldview of evolution, nature doesn't desire the mating of weaker with stronger individuals, even less does she desire the blending of a higher with a lower race. Since if she did, her whole work of higher breeding over perhaps hundreds of thousands of years might be ruined with one blow. Thus, from the war of nature, from famine and death, the most exalted object that we are capable of conceiving, namely, the production of higher animals, directly follows. By following the evolution logic, since humans are merely a species of animals, we have no intrinsic value, and therefore by no means exempt from the war of nature. Because of this logic, we have Adolf Hitler asking the rhetorical question, should I not have the right to eliminate millions of the inferior race that multiplies like vermin? Hitler, of course, is remembered for murdering over 6 million individual human beings, all of which were deemed to be inferior members of the species. Was Hitler wrong? Did he misinterpret or misrepresent the theory he claimed to cherish so much? In his view, apparently not. The renowned British evolution anthropologist Sir Arthur Keith, who was knighted in 1921, came to Hitler's defense. And he said, Hitler is an uncompromising evolutionist, and we must seek for an evolutionary explanation if we are to understand his actions. Then Keith reassured us, the German leader, as I have constantly maintained, is an evolutionist. He has consciously sought to make the practice of Germany conform to his theory of evolution. Let's look at another example in Joseph Stalin. He was another ardent evolutionist, and his zeal even surpassed Hitler's. He was known for murdering at least 10 times as many inferiors. The estimated range of deaths were 60 million to 100 million people. Was Stalin wrong? More recently, what about the Khmer Rouge regime, which is estimated to kill between 1.5 and 3 million Cambodians? Were these exterminations of population subsets wrong? Well, not if you subscribe to an evolutionary worldview. In fact, to the philosophically consistent, uncompromised evolutionists, Hitler and Stalin ought to be considered role models. So we see in these examples how worldview can impact human behavior. Here, we see murder, a most disapproved human behavior, not only condoned, but encouraged. So does it matter what we believe about where we came from? And the answer once again is absolutely. However, even more important than what we believe to be true is what is actually true according to God's Word. Here's another thought. Someone might not believe in gravity, for example. Nevertheless, if that person stepped off a tall building, that person would splat on the ground below, regardless of what they believed. Once again, we have the question, are we the product of purposeful intelligence, or are we merely the end result of countless cosmic accidents? So we have to realize we can't rely on hearsay. Investigate the evidence for yourself by studying God's Word so that you can form a biblical worldview in light of today's social environments and events. Next week on our Wisdom Wednesday, we will continue to discuss the topic of creation and how we can have a biblical worldview that will allow us to confidently reason with those who adamantly proclaim that humans are the product of random evolution. Each week, we will choose a hot topic that are prevalent today and explore them through a biblical lens. If you have any topics that you would like for us to cover, please email me at guthrie@wisdom-trek.com. Tomorrow we will continue with our 3-minute wisdom nugget that will provide you with a bit of wisdom, if followed, will allow you to grow healthier, wealthier, and wiser each day. So encourage your friends and family to join us, and then come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. That will finish our trek for today. If you'd like to listen to any of the past 760 treks or read the Wisdom Journal, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. You can also subscribe to iTunes or Google Play so that each day's trek will be downloaded to you automatically. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.